I'm in Liberty Square, Praça da Liberdade. I was trying to find a spot here because, damn, I sure know how to pick them. Because I had all these guys doing work over here, making noise, and then on this other side, for those of you know if you know this park well, and then all these other like homeless people over here. So it's kind of like it's really difficult to find a decent spot. And then if the sun hits, I probably won't be able to see the screen. So maybe I'll go over here. Need a little bit of shade, but I'll just show you guys what this park looks like. It's really nice. I mean, it's not overrun by homeless people yet. It's got a few, sadly. I mean, it's a sad situation, especially in Brazil. But you know, it is what it is. We're just trying to find a bench over here, and then we'll talk because still waiting for some people to come in. If people come in, maybe they're busy. It's a Thursday afternoon, but I didn't really have any other good times to slot alive in. And over there, I believe, is a museum. Maybe I'll sit here. They're still doing some like cutting of the grass and whatnot. I hope it doesn't make too much noise over here. So yes, Belo Horizonte. What did I think of the place? It's a nice city. It really is a nice city. It kind of reminds me, believe it or not, of Toronto, a tropical Toronto. But I would say better because it's got all these different cultural places. It's got, nicer people. I know Canadians are nice, but people in Toronto are not that nice, believe me. They're kind of passive-aggressive. Canadians are passive-aggressive. I don't know if anybody will come into this live, but for those of you that are watching this, I'm in Liberty Square, which is a really good spot to hang out in Belo Horizonte. The one problem I do have with the city is the fact that, and I mentioned this in my vlogs, is the fact that when you're crossing the street or whatnot, the lights don't give you really that much time to cross the street. Whoever's been here can definitely attest to that, for sure. The other problem I have with the city is the fact that it's hard to find, like everything's sort of spread out. It's not as bad as São Paulo. But São Paulo you can find everything anywhere. Here you gotta sort of do a little research to find a good restaurant. This neighborhood, by the way, where I'm at is called Savassi. So it's kind of like the upscale one of the upscale neighborhoods in Belo Horizonte. So you'll find, decent restaurants here, good places to stay, hotels, things like that. I stayed here for the first few days that I got here, but then I'm staying in Centro. I got there last night. I'm gonna leave. I'll be leaving tomorrow. This noise might get louder. I apologize. It's always a gamble when you choose a decent place to do a live, But Belo Horizonte, it's an interesting city. It's got a lot of history. Not as much as many of the cities in Brazil, but it does have its own history. It's got amazing food. Like Minas Gerais in general has amazing food. It's got, it's got malls if you like malls. It's got friendly people. It's got juice lanchonettes all over the place. It's one of those places that if it had a beach, it would definitely be it'd be my kind of place, personally. Because I'm the type of person, I need the ocean, I need the beach to live. Visiting, it's all right, I don't really need to have the ocean if I'm just passing through for a few days. But living, yes, I need the beach. I need that kind of environment. Well, I have no one in the chat. Maybe everyone's just busy. I get it. It's a Thursday afternoon. But I didn't have any. I didn't have a better time. I could have done it at night, but then where would I do it? You know. The weather's pretty good here apparently. When it's wintertime in Brazil, it doesn't get really that cold. Not like the south. The south is not my kind of place for the cold, like for the weather wise. I would pick one place. If it was one place in the south that I'd want to live in, it would be Florianopolis. Florianopolis would be my. It's probably my favorite city after Rio, and it really depends on what you want because Rio has pretty much everything you want, but it has most of the problems that you're going to encounter. If you want a calm life, a decent life, you could go to a city like Floripa. They have beaches, which works for me. Great food, nice people. Not as receptive as Cariocas, but Cariocas are on another level. I have a love-hate with Carioca people, but that's just me. But I would pick San. Excuse me, guys. I had water with bubbles, so I would choose Floripa if I had to pick a city to live in right now. You know, because Rio is getting a little bit more complicated, a little bit more shittier. It seems that each year that passes, it gets worse and worse. I mean, just the other day, someone today actually, but it happened the other day, sent me a video of a arrastão, which is like, you know, a rush of people going in and robbing people on the beach. And that happened in Barra da Tijuca, which is very rare that happens there. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Barra is one of those places that I've always coveted as one of the safest neighborhoods and most beautiful ones. But I guess these punk asses are deciding to go where the people are, you know, thinking that it's going to be safe, you know, and they get caught in a false sense of security. That's the one thing you don't want to do, is get caught in a false sense of security in Brazil, in any city really. I told you that sun was going to hit me. It's fine, I got enough sun today. So I lucked out with the weather as well. It didn't rain. It rained only at nighttime when I was pretty much sleeping already. So I can't complain about the weather. The weather has been phenomenal. On some days a little bit too hot, but that's, I mean, in the sun. So you just have to keep hydrated. You got to keep, you know, taking breaks in the shade. And man, God knows I did that a few times. I did have one day. Sorry, I did get caught in the rain once, but it came out of the middle of nowhere. And that was like on last Friday or on the weekend or something. I can't remember which day it was. One of the first few days I was here. Let me just show you the view of the park from here. It's not overly noisy by the cars, surprisingly. But it's pretty relaxing. If it wasn't for these guys cutting and cleaning up the grass or whatever, it'd be quieter. But Belo Horizonte, I would say it's worth visiting. Minas Gerais in general, it's worth visiting. If you're a person that wants to visit Brazil and like food, you know, if you're a foodie and you don't care about beaches and all that stuff, this place could be for you. I mean, I met a really cool American guy here last week, and he enjoys it here. He's learning his Portuguese slowly, and he's able to communicate with people with his, you know, thick gringo accent. But he's good. I really only want to inspire good people to come here. I don't want the worst of us to be coming here. Like, I don't want bad Americans or bad Canadians. You know, let's be honest. I don't want jerks coming here and giving us all a bad reputation. I don't know. I think the reputation is still intact, but that could change. You know, you never know. Belo Horizonte, it surprised me. I actually didn't think it would be that great. It's a hilly city, by the way. If you're gonna be coming here, make sure you wear good shoes and you're in good shape, because honestly, you're gonna do a lot of walking here. I took Uber, but because when I have to get from one end of the city to the other, so you can't walk that, and there's no metro system per se, so there's no way to do that. And I never start learning the bus systems in a new city. There's just not enough time, and it's more efficient and quicker to take Uber, in my opinion. I would ask someone if they have any questions, but no one's come in, so it's a bad timing. If this was a Saturday or a Friday or something, maybe I would have had, but that's okay. I mean, people will still get useful information from this. What else could I say about Belo Horizonte? Amazing pão de queijo, if you like that, the cheese bread or whatever. It's the best that I've had. Rio's got nothing on Belo Horizonte when it comes to the cheese bread. If you really like that, and you haven't tried the one from here, like literally in this state, it'll blow your mind. And the coffee too. My God, the coffee. I would say 95% of the places that I've had coffee here has been excellent. Whereas in Rio, even São Paulo, the coffee's not that bad because I think they get it from Minas Gerais. But there's something, I don't know what it is. You would think that Rio gets the coffee from here as well, but it's just not that great. It's okay. In a lot of cases, it's I don't know. I've had bad coffee. Maybe it's the people making it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't went to the shopping mall here. I'm not really a mall guy, but from what I've heard, they've got a decent mall here. So if that's your thing, that might do it for you. Safety-wise, I would say Belo Horizonte is much safer than Rio. It's much safer than São Paulo. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of my Toronto in now, because Toronto's become a little bit sketchier and less safe than it normally is. I mean, Toronto's still very safe, but in comparison to what it used to be, it's not as safe as it used to be. But this place, yeah, man. I mean, you don't want to walk by yourself in certain neighborhoods that you don't know late at night where there's no one around. But hell, likelihood of something happening to you is not very high. The best place for bars and nightlife, I would say, is right here in Savassi, because when I went out walking, I didn't get really any footage, but when I went out walking at nighttime, there was a lot of bars and whatnot, and people were still out and about. So to me, that's going to be your best bet if you're like a night owl and you want to be out late and party a little bit. I would say Savassi. I don't know where the clubbing area is. I think there's a bunch of clubs in this area, but I don't know. I didn't go out adventuring to those places, I would actually, I didn't stay out too late here because I knew I'd have to get up early and go out and do some filming. So yeah, I'm a night owl, but not as much as I used to be, or a night hawk, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, BH really surprised me. I would say also, if you come here, you want to go to Ouro Preto as well. The old mining town, the old colonial mining town in Minas Gerais. It's definitely, if you're a historic history buff, you will enjoy that place. The food is fantastic. I mean, it's Minas food. You can't go wrong with that. I would suggest staying 2 to 3 days there. Actually, that gets to I should say how long you should stay in Belo Horizonte. I would say to get to know the city well enough and visit all the places, I would say 3 to 5 days around there. I would say if you want to see all the museums and this and that, 5 days. You don't need to be longer than 5 days. If you're coming to Brazil for the first time, you might want to do Rio first and then come here if you've gotten enough of Rio or something, because it's only an hour flight away from here, more or less an hour away. So it might be worth the trip. I wouldn't take the bus from Rio to here. It's just too damn long. I did take the bus to Varginha, not Virginia, Varginha, and not the other word that we're all thinking of. But yeah, you might want to check out Ouro Preto. But Belo Horizonte really surprised me. The downtown is kind of chaotic. It kind of reminds me of 25th of March Street in São Paulo, or the downtown, the part where they have the, what do you call it? The markets in Rio, the Sahara. Sorry, bug. The Sahara, where they have a lot of, it's a commercial area basically. It's kind of chaotic. I walked around there today starting my vlog, starting the last vlog in BH, and I had, man, I, this happens in Rio sometimes, but it always surprises me. Like a homeless guy, and I recorded it, stops to talk to me or whatever, and he's like, I'm drinking a juice, and he goes, can I have a little bit? And I'm thinking, what do you mean we'll have a little bit? Do you want a sip of my cup? I mean, he had problems, of course, and that's probably why he's like that or whatever. But Jesus, if I'm gonna give it to you, I'm gonna give you the rest of it. I'm not gonna have it back. I guess when someone's on drugs or whatever, they're not exactly thinking straight enough, you know. Speaking of bugs that are flying around me, I haven't noticed many mosquitoes, but I have noticed like these little really irritating bugs that just keep hovering around you. Maybe it's because I'm sweating like a pig today. I don't know, but they're pretty annoying, those bugs. You'll get girls like that. I don't know if I caught it, but there's pretty girls here. I mean, if you're a single person and you're coming here, there's pretty girls here, and it's a mixed flavor for, if you're looking for whatever you're looking for, they have it here. So people are a little bit less nosy. Also, Cariocas are pretty nosy, in my opinion. They want to get too chummy too quickly, but here they're a little bit more reserved. I guess when you get out of the state of Rio, it gets a little bit more reserved, especially if you go to the south part of Brazil. They're pretty reserved, but friendly. I mean, I've never met, I've been to 7 states now, and every state that I've gone to, I've met friendly people. So it's always a case-by-case situation. But yeah, Belo is no different. I met quite a few friendly people. I would say in Varginha, they were the friendliest outside the city. Way in the farm. What do you call it? Not the outback. I don't want to use Hickville, but the farm, the country. They are so friendly, man. I mean, I asked so many questions about the ET and the UFO stuff, and people were more than happy to answer my questions or talk to me about the topic, especially with a camera shoved in their face. That can't be any easy thing to deal with for anybody. I mean, I would probably be a little bit cautious if someone came up to me with a camera. You don't know what they're going to film for. So people were super friendly. I got a free coffee for somebody because I was just talking with them. They're like, oh, this is, it's just, the hospitality was through the roof there. Even at the hotel, just such friendly people. One guy, I was doing the live yesterday, and one guy who works at the hotel was like, oh, I heard you doing a video or something out there. And he just was curious and, asking what I was doing. So, yeah, just no real rudeness out there. Here, in the big city, you can get pushy people and whatnot. I mean, that's every big city, especially in Rio and São Paulo. Just people are just, there's a lot of people who are miserable. What are you gonna do? That's just the way life is. Every part of the world you go to, you're gonna encounter people like that. But I haven't had too much pushiness here, to be honest. Even in the Centro, no real pushiness and no real aggressiveness. I had a little bit of it in São Paulo, Rio for sure, but there's not much you can do about that, So yeah, I won't do a long live. This is just I like to also do these live to register that I got a live in each location that I go to. I'm gonna try and do that if possible. Any city that I go to or any new place that I go to, whether it's in Brazil or anywhere, I'm doing a live. I like to register that, and just so I can look back and see how my reaction was in the city that I'm visiting. Even the Uber drivers, by the way, are super friendly, accommodating. I'll give you an example. I went to the zoo yesterday in Virginia because there's a sighting, supposedly a marked sighting there, and I had no cash on me, and it was 5 or 6 reais to get in the zoo. And I stopped the Uber driver before he took off, and he said, and I asked him, "Do you mind if I send you, 10 reais, and you give me in cash so I can get in the zoo?" He had no problem with doing that. Try to do that in Rio. Try asking a driver to give you cash if you can send him a transfer, if you're able to do that here. And no way, Rio, no way, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. But in that small town, man, he was super happy to help. He was like, "Oh, no problem." It didn't feel like a chore to him. So I kind of respect that. If people are able to help out, a bunch of people saved my bacon, as it were, in a lot of situations when I travel around. Especially in Minas, I've had a pretty good time of it here. I will definitely come back. I'm trying to think if I can find a Minas Gerais restaurant in Rio. I don't know if there's too many, and I don't know if it's going to be that good a quality. The quality of the food is much better here, and they eat more salads here, which I like. It's a different thing, And the breakfasts here at the hotels, man, fantastic. The 3 places that I stayed at, well, maybe the Ouro Preto was so-so, but generally serving enough fruits. What I don't like about for breakfast here is too much cake, too much high carb stuff first thing in the morning. I get it; you're breaking a fast, but damn, I don't want to be sluggish and having to walk around. That's me personally. But the breakfast generally, they serve up a lot of fruit, and it's always you can tell it's fresh. The hotel that I stayed at here the first few days was fantastic. I would recommend that place for sure. I think it's Royal Savasi Hotel. I would recommend that place. I hope you guys are getting a good amount of information from this. Hit the like if you're liking this live. Yeah, it's pretty muggy today. I'm probably more burned than I was yesterday. I got a lot of sun this time. I felt like I wasn't even on the beach. I got so much sun that it's as if I was on the beach every day, but I wasn't. Trust me. If you guys see me in future videos, I was not on the beach. What more could I say? I wish there were people on here that could ask questions. I don't think there's anybody. Everyone's busy today. I think Thursday afternoons is the shittiest times to have lives, especially if you're in another part of the world. What I'm gonna do the rest of today before I leave, I'm gonna buy some pão de queijo so I can take it back home. And actually, there's a place close by that I did a vlog there. Like I filmed a bit of my vlog there. I can't remember the name of the place now, but it has really good pão de queijo, and it actually prepares it so you can take it in like a little cooler. You have to pay for it, obviously, but I think it was 150 reais for a bag of pão de queijo and then a cooler. I can't remember, but I'm gonna take that home. I don't eat this stuff that much, to be honest, because it's a lot of carbs, and I'm trying to keep some sort of figure and shape, and not a big shape. So I cut back on this stuff. But when in Rome, man, you gotta bring the stuff that you're not gonna be able to get for a long time. Bring it back home and enjoy it. If you guys have any questions about Minas or Belo Horizonte or whatever, you can leave it in the comments below, and I'll get back. I'll respond as quickly as possible. I'm only probably gonna do a 30-minute live here since I don't have anybody in this live. And I totally get that, I probably could have scheduled this last night, but I got home so late, and I don't think people would want to watch a live at like 10 p.m. I got to do some research to see what times are the best to do lives and whatnot. But yeah, come check out Belo Horizonte. It's at some parts it's a little noisy. I think you could probably hear these guys chopping away or whatever. But yeah, people are friendly. They don't treat you like you're a foreigner. Learn some Portuguese, because there's not a lot of people here who speak English. What else can I say? Yeah, I'll end the live in like 5 minutes. For those of the, if you didn't catch the beginning, this is where I'm at. I think there's a museum or something back there. The place that has the pão de queijo is just that way, so I'm gonna go there after. I get a few stares though because I'm speaking English and I have to speak loudly so that it'll record my voice and you'll be able to hear me over the noise here. One place that I would say that's a must to visit, and I'm gonna be going there to finalize a video right after this live, is the Mercado Municipal, which is this big market in the downtown core that has like everything you can possibly think of. It has electronics, it has food, it has snacks, all kinds of stuff from the region. So you might want to check that out when you're here. It's a definite, that would be for me a must see. You could go check out, if you're here at the right time, a soccer game at the Mineirão. You could go to Park Pampunha, where the lake is, where, oh, speaking of which, I was just there before I came here, and I used my drone. It's a funny story. It was kind of freaky, but I don't know if this has happened to any of you. If you've been here and used your drone or whatever, and this has happened to you, please write in the comments. So I was at by Lake Pampunha, I think I'm saying it correctly, and I wanted to fly my drone there just to capture the lake and capture the church that's there. So not 2 minutes or 3 minutes into the flight, someone shows up right behind me. Is like, "Sir," and this is in Portuguese, obviously, "bring the drone in and give me your ID or whatever. Like, I want to see some ID or identification for the drone." And I was like, whoa. I looked back, it's a guy in full uniform with a gun and everything. I think it was a Guarda Municipal, or municipal guard, which is, I don't know, I don't remember, because I was just like, I got freaked out because I thought, oh my God, I'm in serious shit. And so I'm like, oh, no problem, I'll bring the drone in, I'll stop recording, whatever. If you want, I can delete the footage if I'm not allowed. He was very firm and kind of, how would I say, very, I don't know the word, just kind of like aggressively with his words at the beginning, just to sort of, I guess, get my attention. But then, so I brought the drone in, and then I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that this is a law or whatever. I'm really sorry." He's like, "Yeah, you have to register it with the city or something, because it's a municipal law that you can't film the church. It's that really famous church, blue and white church by the lake." And I was a little bit startled. I mean, I'm pretty cool when it comes to situations, but when you're in another country, even though I'm not a citizen, but I'm a resident, I was a little bit, taken aback, startled, I guess. And I had rented a bicycle up by where the stadium is to get down and just ride around, right? And then use the drone and then continue riding. So he's like, ID or whatever, and I'm like, I don't have my ID. They told me to keep the ID up there while I have the bike, so that I don't take off with the bike. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm explaining, I'm sorry. I said, I know about rules. I'm Canadian. We follow the rules. And he's like, oh yeah, you're from Canada, whatever, and then he's completely, the slight aggressiveness just went away. It was completely, everything was okay and forgiven. I said, I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. I use the drone everywhere. I'm from Rio. I live in Rio, and this and that. At the end of the day, there was no harm, no foul. He was like, oh no, I get it. In Rio that you can use it wherever. There's no real rules. But here in Belo Horizonte, we have a little bit more stringent rules that you got to follow and abide. And I was like, I totally get it. I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, you're living in Brazil. How long are you living in Rio for? And it was completely, the situation was over pretty much. So nothing happened. So just keep that in mind. If you guys are using a drone here or whatever, wherever you go, to be honest, not even just Brazil, you gotta be careful that the areas that you go to to film, because you never know. It could be a place that you're not allowed to use the drone. I know that I can only go so high certain areas because of airports and flight paths and all that stuff. I totally get it. I totally get it. And actually, it showed up on my screen, and I had to check boxes and confirm that I'm aware of, you know, whatever the flight path that's going on. And yeah, I was kind of freaked out, but you know, because he was all in the full, looked like a military officer, and I'm like, shit. So yeah, live and learn. Anywhere that, I think it's a UNESCO site. I think that's what he said. So live and learn. You never know what kind of, you know, crap you could get yourself into. I had no idea, but anyway, beautiful city. Really, really, one last thing I will say. Amazing viewpoint up at Mirante das Mangabeiras. I said it correctly. You can't miss that view. Make sure you go up there, even if it's on the first day, and get it, and just sort of, not get it out of the way, but don't miss it. Just don't miss it. You will be amazed the view that you get to see up there. And it's free entrance. You don't gotta pay anything. It's open from, I think, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. I wish I'd go up there and see the sunset, because honestly, that would be incredible. I'm sorry that no one was able to be in the live, but that's okay. I get it, you know. If you guys have any questions about the place, I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. One thing I will say. Sure, so the Centro, I rented my place, you know, booked my hotel, whatever, right at Centro, not that far from the bus terminal. It's pretty noisy at nighttime. It's pretty noisy during the day, right in that area, okay? So you wanna, if you're okay with that, and you still want to stay in Centro, if you're the type of person who wants to be downtown, then it'll be fine for you. But if that's not good, if you don't like that kind of stuff, I would suggest staying in Savassi. If you're okay with paying a little bit extra, stay in this neighborhood called Savassi. I think you'll not regret it. You'll be close to the bars. You'll be close to decent Airbnb or hotels. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. If you want to avoid, also walking out at night down there's a little bit, you know, sketchy. So you don't want to do that either in a city you don't really know well. So those are my tips for you guys. Can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's a bunch more things, but I can't think of anything else. So yeah, leaving BH, going back to Rio, going home tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have to leave my hotel pretty early to get to the airport, but it is what it is. So I hope you enjoyed this live, even though you'll be watching it after the fact of participating, but that's cool. I hope you take something away from it, informative stuff. And like I said, any questions you got, just write in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. So thanks for watching this video, direct from Belo Horizonte, BH. We'll see you guys in the next live and the next video. Peace.